CastleMania.
He's hilarious as well because sometimes he'd say, brother, 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 just do it like this. Proceeds to do like, Bruce Lee level. And you're like, yeah, I am trying.
Yeah.
He's like, don't sell it like this. Sell it like, and you're like, can't though, Liang, can I?
Like, because I need you to do that.
Yeah. I'll never do that. So I don't know what to do now.
Welcome to the castle, and welcome to a CastleMania production. All right, welcome to the castle. We are with Sam C. Wilson, or Trapjaw, from Masters of the Universe in theaters now. Welcome to the castle, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. I appreciate it, man. And it was great to see you the other day as well. I'm sorry that we couldn't do it in person. I kind of ran off to the UK not long after.
Yeah, no, it was nice to just even get a moment to hang out with everybody, like in the green room area, and it just seemed like we were collecting there. The longer we hung out, the more people came by, and the group just kept getting bigger.
Yeah, like some sort of plot of villains.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of villains hanging out there. As you and Triclops, and I actually had a chance to talk to Kojo yesterday.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah, Kojo's great, man. He's a lovely guy, isn't he?
Yeah, you came up, I'll say, in conversation.
Did I?
So, yeah, I was talking to him about how something I learned about you just watching your Instagram is that you're quite the artist.
Oh, bless you.
Right? And I was watching a video, I think it was Johannes. You were doing a fisto and you did the huge, fist arm, but then the like little wimpy arm that was under scale for the rest of them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think he still owes me mine because he promised to make one. So he's got to take that up with you.
I do. I owe him his.
Yeah.
And I also owe... Sorry, my baby's around. I owe him his. Who else do I owe? I owe a few. I've done Ram Man. I've done a couple of them. What happened was I kind of did a load of them because I had a lot of excited energy before the premiere and I didn't quite know where to put it. And then the premiere kind of happened, and then unfortunately Kojo on the schedule seems to have landed himself just after the premiere. So I will make Kojo's actually and send it to him because I feel like it's really bad form. He could end up reading into that and think that, it's like me trying to like implicitly tell him that he's not worth it. But he is. He's a great friend. He's brilliant, Kojo. I love him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell, like, when you guys get together, you guys did become friends over the course of the shoot and then after and everything.
Yeah.
So, I was going to ask you at the premiere, in LA, that was a pretty exciting event. And Travis really did it up with like bringing out all the fans and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you had like your regular press people, but they had like Club Grayskull people there and everything.
Yeah.
That must have felt different than anything else for you, like other premieres, in other words.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's a few things. The truth is, this is a big step up for me in terms of scale, because I've done like quite a lot of TV, and sometimes you'll get like a screening, like a premiere screening for like the first couple of episodes, and that I've done that at kind of BAFTA and that kind of thing. So gone along and you have a photo and you see a couple of your castmates and you wear something nice, but the whole full-blown Hollywood style, or indeed actual Hollywood red carpet, is something very new to me anyway. So there was this like double whammy. I have to say, what ended up feeling really lovely about there being loads of fans who are like loyal to the franchise is that the kind of fans that it drew were very, very lovely. They're supportive people. They're nice, and they're all on your team. And we've all built a bit of a relationship with the fans. So actually having them there served as a kind of, I was thinking about it. It's a bit like, if you're an appliance has an earthing feature.
Mm-hmm.
The fans really behaved as a bit of a lightning rod. I mean, how many more metaphors can I think of here? But basically what I'm saying is it was a lot to take in, coming to LA, being in a film, being on a carpet, lots of people taking your photo, lots of people watching this big new film, huge amounts to take in. So actually having some people there that were like 100% there for you was amazing. And
Yeah.
then it was then I kind of realized like, oh, this is who we're making it for. And if anyone's ever made a comment about Trapjaw's, like him not being like steroid level creature muscly enough, that was a criticism that one or two people have made
Mm.
at home. You know, whatever. I don't think people really fully get what goes
Well,
into this stuff or that kind of thing. But the fans are the ones to quickly jump to my aid in those things
yeah.
and say, no, this is exactly what a strong man would look like. He's farmer strong, he's trap. And the fans
Yeah.
are like with you. And that's really lovely, really lovely.
Yeah. So the fans at the show, they were there of all ages, first of
Hmm.
all. But you're right, everyone had a good time at that show.
Hmm.
And as far as Trapjaw, the first thing I said to you when we met last week, I think it
Yeah.
was dang man, you are menacing in that film. Like when that first on-screen appearance happens, you round the corner. I think this is shown in the preview, so I think I'm spoiling anything. But you feel genuinely not scared, but like worried for who it
Mm.
is Trapjaw's going to face down. And you're like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to end well for that person. You know what I mean?
No.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's interesting that there would be a thought, whoever would say something like that just hasn't seen the movie yet.
I also think that some people, and I in a weird way, right? My empathy is there in that I think some people, movie land is so far removed
Hmm.
from their day-to-day life, like the actual making of these things,
Right.
that it just doesn't feel like real human beings are on the other side of the
Oh,
creation of it. I think some people just think that, like, the law should generate this, like, and we've come used to CGI and like the Hulk, that kind of thing is what people are aesthetically now used to, and I suppose a lot of the old figures were very Hulk in shape. So
yeah.
I think what Travis was trying to do is to bring the comics to life, but also for it to be very obvious that it was practical effects and real, actual men doing these stunts as
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah.
who looked the business. So yeah, I personally have no regrets about how we handled that thing.
And I think what most people will take away is a number of things. Number one, the casting was perfect, and literally for every single person on, that makes up the ensemble, right? It's interesting because, like John is Ram Man to me now. Like that's just who Ram Man is, right? And I've grown up with Ram Man for 40 years.
Yeah,
So it's just interesting how you guys just become the character.
that's lovely to hear, Ryan. That's lovely. That's such a lovely thing to hear, mate, because ultimately, right, that's all any of us really want, because we are who we are, right? We're actors and performers earnestly doing our best for this, like, and really giving it 110%. And all we can ever hope for is that, you're received with open arms, because to an extent, there's only so much we can do with just who we are. And to me, John is Ram Man, Johannes is Fisto, Kojo's Triclops. Like that's who I'll always see.
Without a doubt. And it was interesting, like how each of you brought your own kind of personalities into the role, but without taking away from the character.
Yeah, there is in theory a completely creature version out there, isn't there? Like a CGI creature uh, uh, idea of, like, total broad strokes, just like the cartoon. And then there's taking these character traits and giving them to actors and seeing what they do with it, which is always what I loved. I mean, Tom Hardy's Bane. comes to mind instantly for me. It's probably one of my favorite on-screen villain performances, if I'm honest. And because the voice was just different, it wasn't like the Bane I expect. And so many people have called out for this like luchador Bane, which would be so interesting too in another version. It's just that in that role, someone did this incredible thing because they're an actor and they got given what they got given, and that's what we got given. So I got given, he's big, he's lugging metal around, he's a kind of older general, and he's in pain a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I do want to kind of qualify what we're talking about a little bit, because I think for fans, and I've been a fan my whole life. Masters was the toys I grew up with. It was like the primary one for me. So I don't set this up just for you. This is just how the office is. But for those fans that are like me, all of these characters are done exactly kind of as you'd hoped. If anything, better than you thought. So not to worry on that front. I wanted to get back to kind of Trapjaw and you becoming Trapjaw a little bit. I have to imagine that when you cast this role, when they officially confirmed you, you let some people know in your personal life. Do you have any Masters fans that freaked out a little bit when they heard you were going to be Trapjaw?
Yeah, I do. I had an older cousin who freaked out, and I had some colleagues from other jobs that I had done, and they were like really, really into it too. So a lot of my friends are family like, and do you know who comes to mind? I was in a program called House of the Dragon, which I'm aware there's kind of often a convergence actually, because fantasy and sci-fi, fantasy and comics, like people tend to be quite into those things simultaneously. Um, and Mark, who played Cheese when we played Blood and Cheese, right? Mark is a massive, massive He-Man fan, and a few of my colleagues really, really let me know. The thing is, my family, my immediate family, are kind of split over the affected generation, because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
90s kid and my
Yeah.
dad's like 60s, 70s. So then
Right.
the 80s are this funny like fantasy land to me,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
where my parents were kind of young adults. So that, that
Mm.
whole kind of like 80s teenagehood, that's
Yeah.
something that has become almost like fantasy lore to me as well. So
Yeah.
it's like when things like Stranger Things came along, there
Yeah.
wasn't quite as much, it wasn't quite so much nostalgia, but it's more like nostalgia of a time that I've never actually experienced myself. Does that make sense? So the kind of
Yeah.
the American 80s to me is what the 80s feels like. So like, because I grew up watching films like The Goonies and
Mm-hmm.
Lost, what was it, Lost
Lost
Boys.
Boys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, was a massive favorite of mine. And I don't know why, when it's like your favorite, but you've forgotten the name. And the Lost Boys, but a lot of that particularly American 80s output was like the biggest import from the States to us. Or at least what it felt like was culture. So like we grew up on like Saved by the Bell and things like this. So that whole kind of era, He-Man is woven into all of those things I just mentioned anyway. So it felt like being part of the law that exists within the law. It's like being there's that famous thing where they say, was it that in that one of Tarantino's films is meant to be a film within the film. So like I forget whether it's Pulp Fiction is the movie they're watching in Kill Bill, or Kill Bill is the movie they're watching in Pulp Fiction. I think there's something, I forget which multi-layer it is. It might be another one, but
Yeah, the Reservoir Dogs, there is some character kind of crossovers
yeah.
with Pulp Fiction as well,
Uh-huh.
where it seems like there might be some sort of connected Tarantino universe. But I get what you're saying about like the 80s has sort of become an aesthetic
Yeah.
that is like its own lore, like you're saying, like this is just how the American 80s was.
Yeah,
And yeah, so that's cool. We were talking a bit about bulking up, and like I said, you're a menacing. I compared you when we talked last. I said the first thought that came to my mind was Freddy Krueger.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and just not in a like horror way, but just in a, like, I was, again, like I was saying, I was afraid for the person you were facing down. What did you, what was the like process for getting ready? And maybe that's physically, but also maybe it's like mentally, like you're getting into that 80s lore vibe, reading some of
Sure.
the mini comics, stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, okay, so and I'm really glad you asked because I thought to myself, right, it's a huge movie, massive fandom. I'm gonna like do my homework, really do my homework, and like make sure that I don't know. I just think it's out of respect for the thing that you're agreeing to do, and also because I absolutely love my job and it's great fun. And I'm a massive cartoon fan. So what I did is I went into like the original where Cronus and like where he's from and how he ended up losing his jaw and that kind of thing. So I went into like I there were some great YouTube videos out there that talked me through all of this stuff. And there were just some unbelievably good there were just some unbelievably good pieces of information on the web. And then there was also stuff that I read. So I kind of had the idea that he's angry because he's been disfigured, which was good. And then I thought to myself, okay, I've got 6 months and my body can do so much in 6 months without, without doing forms of help, which I wasn't, willing to do. uh, you know, um, for those who don't get subtlety, I'm talking about steroids. I didn't want to, I didn't want to go down that route. But I'm a big, strong dude anyway. So I thought, right, I grew up around rugby players, and I grew up around people who were like, because rugby's big in Wales, because I'm a Welshman, right? And I grew up around people who were like farmer strong. So I thought, okay, Hafthor's on board as well. I knew already by this point. I thought I'm going to make Trapjaw look kind of like bullshit strong, like kind of just he's lugging around metal. He's eating food whole. I started to think of these ideas, and I thought I can kind of really make an effort to go zoop and be really trim, like in pants. But then I saw their concept art, and they had these enormous robotic legs and this very kind of tied on arm, and it all looked very painful. And I thought, okay, I'm getting the idea for what this guy needs to look like. I need to meet the costume, if that makes sense. The costume isn't going to meet me. So I was
Right.
like, build. So that's what I
Yeah.
did. I just did strongman training essentially, eating huge amounts of calories and just getting heavier and heavier and stronger and stronger. And by the end, I was having like 60 kg per hand on a bench. I mean, it was really heavy weights I
Wow.
was moving. I don't know what that would be in pounds because you guys use pounds, but I guess it's like double and a bit more. So it's like I guess like 130, 140 or something per hand. And it was really lifting
Dang.
huge. Yeah, man. It was like
Yeah.
Hafthor helped me out. And I just did a lot of diet support with it. But, there wasn't long. And then in the chair, I would have the silicone put on, glued on
Hmm.
here, and then I'd have it glued on here. So there were two pieces like that and that. And then they would put my hair down into a bald cap, and then
Yeah.
eventually I shaved my head because I was on another job. So what
Oh,
I did
wow.
in the end
Okay.
was I shaved my head, I shaved my beard, they shaved my body completely. So I was this kind of
Hmm.
like mole rat looking thing. I was saying in one of the interviews, I looked a bit like Littlefoot from Land Before Time. I looked like some sort of large turtle or something because they
Yeah.
built
Yeah.
the front of Chapjaw's face, but it was still my jaw. So
Yeah. Yeah.
then they had 3D printed and done a few iterations around a kind of 3D printing of my head. The helmet would come on, and it was like we would joke that it was like Vader, it would
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on. And
Yeah.
then they had
Lowering
this
on
other
you.
jaw, the mandible piece would come on, and there was some foam that held it to my chin. And so that jaw is moving with my mouth. It's not all of it's
Hmm.
completely. Uh, and then my body from there was completely, and they would dab it because it had to make layer upon layer upon layer of blue so that it would look like blue skin and not just
Yeah.
some dude painted blue. So there's loads of layers and speckles and everything, just so that when you zoom in on HD, it looks like skin. It was so skillful. And then the costume would come on at the end. That was the last part. And all these different departments. There's sort of too many people to name. But by the time you've been looking in the mirror and seeing all of this, I would start to go, start doing things like that, and I'd start to listen to I'd start to listen to a lot of Korn. So like people would see that on my posts I've been putting Korn songs, and For Whom the Bell Tolls. So Freak on a Leash, you'll probably have there on a vinyl, I'm expecting, and I'm hoping. Is it coming? Have we got Freak on a Leash? Oh, buddy, come on. And have we got Come On? Have you got any Metallica in there as well?
Yeah.
For Ride the Lightning?
In the office, but
you're a fan.
Oh wait, yeah.
Are you kidding me? You've got right. Oh, come on.
I've got
amazing.
Injustice.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, then I would start to listen to that and I'd get hyped, because a lot of the stuff that I have to do, you've seen the movie, it was very, very physical. So it's all well and good having this performance ready, but I had to be able to move in that stuff, and it was very hard to move. Very hard. And so there was lots to do, but I had to be basically towards the tail end of a 5-hour makeup process.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to explain a bit about that too, because when we were talking, I asked you, I said, so what did they do? Just like spray you with some blue? And you're like, I wish they did. It was like a 1-inch square, I guess, couple centimeter square sponge. And they just, you said they dabbed it on. They literally dabbed it on. And not just once, but that's like layer 1. Now let's do layer 2, right?
You've got it. So what they would do is, I mean, they're so clever. They're so clever, these lot. Because if they had just spray painted, everyone would be going, it looks like a guy spray painted blue. It wouldn't have looked right. I wish they had. But what they did was they dab it. And often when they do a tattoo cover up, so on other films I've been in, I'll have like that covered. They do like, I'll get it wrong, but it's something like yellow, then blue, then a green, I think, and then beige skin, my skin color, like a beigey kind of, and then they'll add some sort of melanin tones in there, depending on what your skin tone is and all of that. So, but what they're doing is they're almost creating the effect of like a vascular system, then a fleshy bit, and then and that's the only way it sells on camera, and that you don't look like some flat blob, like the only way that you get the contours of skin moving while it's moving. So I mean, crazy amounts of work for them. I can't imagine how mind-bogglingly boring that might have been.
Yeah.
They're so talented.
And then removing it's a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah. There would be these like, it's you begin to figure out a process, but again, you can't just hop in a shower, because all of this paint is not water soluble, because you would sweat it off. It's only alcohol soluble. So it's made to only react to alcohol. So you get these big, really really sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like volatile, kind of very chemical smelling stuff. Who knows? And apparently it's safe to put on your skin, but so said some label on it written in Microsoft Word. But you'd plaster that on, and eventually the paint would start to move, and then you'd start to see it come away. But it would, like, a chemical reaction would have, and it's like, it's not comfortable. You can only do a couple of days of it a week, really.
Yeah, it's like when you're removing a sticker from like a box or something, and you're like really working at it, except for it's your whole body.
It's literally that degree of adhesive. It's completely on you. So it was like, the whole process was no joke.
Did you ever feel tempted to just say, like, I'll just go home blue and I'll just come back tomorrow?
Well,
all good.
Yes, I did feel tempted to do that. That particularly, one of the things was that my daughter was due. My partner was due to give birth at any moment, and I was in work, and I remember I would stand there on set thinking I could get the call, and I would sometimes make sure that someone had my phone nearby at least, because I thought my daughter could come any moment. And then it's almost like my partner's, this is what she says, it's almost like her body knew. Because when I came home for the weekend, a long weekend, pretty much within a few hours of me coming home, it was one morning she just said, "Oh, I've got a feeling a bit crampy today." And then I went on a run. And by the time I checked my phone, when I looked back from this run, there'd been like 13 missed calls, and I thought, "Oh, right, here we go." And so we had our daughter, and then I was back in Painted Blue 48 hours after.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
Do they rush you out of the hospital? Like, here in the United States, you get overnight in the hospital at best, and then they're like, send you home, and you feel like, gosh, I don't know that I've been given enough information to take this baby home.
Well, luckily for me, Kaylee's a midwife, my partner. And so we had our daughter, Juno, at home, in the room I'm speaking to you from now, about 4 meters from me. She she was born. So yeah, but yes is the answer. They get you home ASAP, and I think people are often at home, and it's deafeningly. I've heard a lot of stories about people getting home and it being deafeningly quiet, and then thinking, and then the screaming starts. Quiet for a minute, but more like, who's in charge? Are we in charge?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt, at least the first time. And I was like, one more time on how to swaddle and how to like wrap the baby up and all that stuff. And you had the advantage with your partner being a midwife. Okay, just to wrap up the whole kind of becoming trap job, putting on all the makeup, all this and that. The you've got like an arm that can do a number of different things, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything about the costume that was inhibiting? Like for Ram Man John, he's explaining to me he couldn't hear, and he had to look at you guys and learn how to read your lips. He just flat couldn't hear you. Kojo couldn't see; he could only see down to see if he was going to trip over something, and sometimes like you and other people would have to walk him to where he was going to have to be.
Yep.
Did you have anything like that, or was it better for Trapjaw? Okay.
My ears are completely blocked, so I had inhibited hearing. Those trousers I've got on were like 20 kilograms plus, and I had them on with a weight belt, so they're kind of like, that was pretty like moving in them. I mean, it looks good on the performance because what they look like robotic legs that are a hell of a weight to move. They are. So that whole kind of swaying, I ended up keeping my head still, and I kind of turned that into a bit of a monkey walking like that.
And I think that's part of why your entrance, that first entrance. And by the way, like when you walked in, for anyone that wasn't there, and hopefully people do this at the theater too, but I mean the applause, like when you walked in. But
it was lovely.
I mean, that had to feel good. I know you guys
Oh, it
are.
was great. And the other thing was I had my eyes, and the whites of my eyes were green and yellow. So there, I had scleral contact lenses in that would cover the whole white of your eye too. So I couldn't see shit.
Oh wow!
I couldn't see much, and I was fighting like full on. So yeah, there would be times when I'd say, "Look, I can't do this bit with my contacts in. I'm sorry. There's just no way." I don't want to hit Idris Elba, and I sure as hell don't want Idris Elba to really hit me, because the guy's tough. Yeah,
Yeah, Idris, like in person, he's bigger. Like all you guys, it's funny if you look at the photo of me. It's like me and John are like normal height, and the rest of you guys are like huge.
I know.
So
I know they had us on spec. I think they were kind of like, look,
Yeah.
I think once they had started casting a few, I think once they like Nick's a pretty tall dude, right? And then I think they needed the creatures to dwarf Nick, and Nick's already like kind of like a
Yeah.
rugby player size, so they were like,
Yeah.
right, cool. We need huge men,
Yeah.
who can act.
You worked with Liang Yang, right? To get
Yeah,
your fight. How was that? I mean, he's a
he's
legend,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, Liang's he's like I. There's this thing around him. He's like just a guy who's like he'll be eating like his like microwave meal or whatever and walking around looking like just giving little notes here and there. And they've got these like you've got these like perfect looking human beings all around him who are hanging on every word. The only time I've ever seen that sort of being revered is I don't know if you've ever seen that when Jackie Chan speaks to his full stunt crew and they're all kind of watching the way they're watching him speak. Uh, Liang has that around him, and then it's amazing because I felt very chosen because me and him got on really well, and we're still in touch. Which is like I don't really know whether that's common to stay in touch with your fight captain or whatever, but he was so encouraging. He's hilarious as well because sometimes he'd say, "Brother, brother, brother, just do it like this."
Yeah.
Proceeds to do like you know Bruce Lee level shit,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Yeah, I am trying."
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Don't sell it like this, sell it like,"
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
can't though, Leanne, can I?
Like I
Because
need you to do that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll never do that. So I don't know what
Yeah.
to do now. But then he's texted me saying that was amazing. You're great. Like he's just perfect with carrot and stick. He's a genius. Really clever guy.
And
Yeah.
so he's the one that put together all of your fight scenes for this film. And for anyone that doesn't know who we're talking about, Johannes gave the perfect example, which is everyone has seen that white bathroom fight scene from Mission Impossible where
And he's right there. I'm like, oh my God, you're the, and I said to him, you're the guy from the white bathroom.
yeah.
And he went, what? And then I had to explain what I meant. And he's like, yes, yeah, let's get to work.
He's fighting Henry Cavill, Tom Cruise is,
The
and
loading, the fist
yeah,
loading.
and Li Yang's in that fight as well, in person. That's actually him, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of those epic fights that everyone knows about when you bring it up.
They are amazing. They I've got to say, like, obviously I'm biased towards my ones. Obviously, when I watch my ones as well, I'm watching something I worked on like really painstakingly for months. So like I like it. I'm also not quite I can't like watch it as a first time viewer. I do remember them showing me the fight for the first time when they were showing me what I needed to do. And it was that play for play. They do like a pre-vis, which is like a pre-visualization where they show you what the fight's going to look like. The stunt guys get dressed up in like very crude cardboard versions of your costume, and that they shoot it to show the actors. It's an amazingly huge piece of work they do in the months leading up to meeting you. And I remember looking at that thinking, well, shit, I'm fired because I don't look like Hulk Hogan, and there's no way I'll ever do that. And that didn't happen. I carried on. We all carried on. We persevered. There was, I mean, Nick had this mountain to climb, obviously, and we all had our own little mini mountains in our own parts.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure was on for him, and he delivered
Huge.
for sure.
I couldn't
Yeah.
have. I mean, hats off to him. People will say like, yeah, but I don't know. When it comes to people who are like in the public eye, people get
Hmm.
very unforgiving with credit. Like they go,
Yeah.
like, yeah, but if I had a chef doing da 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 and this, people have this like idea that somehow, if the correct resources were poured into you, you'd just be able to do it no problem. And I've been on the other side of that curtain, as it were. And I can tell you now, I don't know if I could do that with all the right things in place. With the, you've still got to do it. Like even if I had a trainer forcing me out of bed and the right diet and all of it and all the right training like I think assuming that just with all we all need is the right resources and we could all do it, I'm a bit like, nah, I think that's like robbing Nick of the credit he deserves, to be honest, because I looked at his hard work. It was not, it wasn't handed to him, man. Like he's a lovely guy, Nick, and I saw that work every time I was in, and he did it with a smile on his face, and it wasn't easy for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think people, what you're describing is there's like a math to it, right? Like you've got to do this many of this and eat this many calories. But really behind all of that is actually your inner strength and like what you're actually bringing to the role. So after all
Oh,
that, can you like, you have this rough day of, or months rather, of like eating this insane diet and doing these insane workouts. Are you still able after that to show up and perform? You
yeah,
know, that's a whole nother
yeah.
question.
And to be really kind to everybody. Nick is a really really good human being. Um, I gotta say, and he was leading. He felt like a leading the ship a little. It's the same as Travis. I there's been a few people who have said like when you come off a film or a TV show, sometimes people go, "Oh, go on, what was it really like?" And they kind of want to hear some like juicy shit, and I just don't have any. They're just like they're just good human beings. We've all ended up friends.
And that might be the actual juicy part of it, is how well you guys actually got along, right? So something else that was apparent to me at the screening and everything, when we were in that green room and everyone was sort of collecting and the hangout was just getting bigger. You guys are actually friends. Like you have become friends over the course of the filming. And what I didn't realize, and Kojo explained to me, was you guys hadn't really seen each other for over a year. And that this was sort of a reunion
Yeah,
for you
yeah,
guys.
yeah, massively. So that made it really nice. Yeah. And we've all been really supportive to each other since. Like I've even messaged them and been like, someone said this shitty thing online and I'm worried about it. And they've flood in with like, no, fuck that. You look amazing. This thing's great. That scene was perfect. And we've done it for each other. We're it's a proper friendship group in the ways that are like supportive as well. It's been really good.
Yeah. And there's some other characters that are just, I feel like they're just starting to become recognized a little more after the premiere.
Yeah.
Like they've announced who actually is the voice of Beastman, and I thought, okay, well, that's minor spoiler because you spend the first part of it wondering if he's going to talk. Um, but then you have Karg. I think they just, like, he was at the UK premiere.
Yeah.
Um, and then of
And
course you mentioned Hafthor is
yeah.
Goatman.
Hmm. Hafthor is a lovely dude, man. He's so fucking strong. I don't know if I can
Yeah.
swear. He's so
Oh yeah,
strong.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's so strong. Like I've seen it up
Yeah.
close. He's sweet. He's sweet as anything. Lovely guy. And Hung, who played Karg, just like quiet, gentle, mind-bogglingly talented. Like modest. Lovely dude as well.
Did you sort of like buddy up with anybody? Like this was like the main guy you hung out with. Maybe it was because of the shooting schedule or anything like that, or did everyone just sort of group up?
Oh, that's a really good question, because I think my prosthetics team were really my support. There was Pat, Emma, and Mike. Emma Chef, Pat Fode, and Mike Byrne, and they all worked under Barry Gower, and they were my support system through and through because I was with them for my daughter had been born and she was really little, and it was a struggle sometimes for us as a family, and And I was in the chair with them, tired as anything, and they were really supportive, and they would come over between takes and make out like they were doing my glue, and they'd say that was a great take, great, it looks amazing. I'm watching the monitors, and they'd like G you up again really quietly, and then really, Nick and Travis I'm naming all the most consistent characters I would see, and then Christian and Georgia, who are the AD team, they were there all the time, first in, last to go, totally heroic levels of hours and everything, and they were, you know, I just have to say all those people's names because they were, you know, they were who kind of held my hand through the whole process, to be honest.
And probably the people watching your phone for you before,
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
quite. The people who were taking care of me or booking me a hotel if they saw I looked too tired and things like that, they keep that thing going.
And you know, you mentioned Travis. I do have to say, so like I've become familiar with his work via this film. And so now
Mhm.
I'm going backwards. And I am so glad that Travis was the guy put in charge of this thing. He is clearly a fan. He knows the material. And the way he did everything with the practical stages, he didn't have to do all that stuff. He could have done many other things to like make things easier or cut costs here or there, but it was like really it felt like a passion project, something that he wanted to see done right. Really glad that he's the guy in charge, you know, at the end of the day on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
So I want to ask you, you've got trap jaw necklace, lapel, right?
Yeah.
And you also had like some cool interlocking rings and stuff like that when we were in LA. I don't know if you're wearing them, but
Oh
there's like a
yeah.
two-part
My
ring.
pinky rings. Yeah.
What? So you're an artist, clearly. I know that you can draw, and we talked about that. Is this part of it, the jewelry side?
I wish I could make
Okay.
jewelry. I
Okay.
think that might be my next frontier because I'm
Yeah.
getting so into jewelry and I really, really love it. And I'm like a magpie. If I ever go to like a market and I see something glitter, I think, ooh.
Yeah.
So I think I would love to be able to make some jewelry. I think that might be
Yeah.
the next thing that I dick about with at home. I love creating things like lots of the stuff on my wall. I mean, these ones here, they're coffee stains that I illustrate over. So I spill some coffee
Hmm.
and you know,
How cool is that?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If you give afterwards, I'll definitely do you something and send you something out for sure.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Because you're a collector yourself, and you know I'll
Mhm.
do you a trap jaw or whatever. And I also I won't forget that I owe Kojo
Yeah.
a Triclops
Yeah.
and a few of the others their characters as well. So, but yeah, I mean I love it. It's a hobby, really. I mean I always wanted to be able to sell them. I don't really have that whatever that bone is that
Mm.
it allows you to go, yes, I want to sell this for this price. Maybe I need to put value on it a bit more. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
Where does somebody get a trap jaw lapel? Like, did you
I'm
commission that or
afraid
did you
this is
find
one
it?
of one. I
It's one of one.
commissioned it from Barry Gower, who made the face.
Wow.
So
How cool is that?
so Barry Gower and his team, I ought to name them individually. I'll find the names. They made this for the premiere. They
That's
took a
incredible.
bolo and painted and 3D printed their way through one of these, and it's I'm a very proud owner of it. I'm not worthy really when I see the amount of collectibles other people have. I'm hoping that
It's
I've started
incredible.
something. Maybe some other people will make theirs, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, one last just fun question
Yeah,
that I like to ask is, I guess you're a 90s kid, you said.
yeah.
What was the first album that you got, whether you bought it or it was a gift for Christmas or whatever? What was the first
Uh,
music album?
First music album that I got was Ride the Lightning by Metallica.
Was it?
My dad bought it for me. I remember exactly where I was. And do you know what? I did.
Okay.
This is for everyone out there. I had no idea I was going to be asked this, and I've never thought about it really. I finished my exams, and we got in my dad's Golf. He had a little Golf. He picked me up from school, and he handed over this album, Ride the Lightning, and it's because I had heard For Whom the Bell Tolls on a compilation album of dad rock that he had. And I said, I love that song. And as a little gift, he went out to Virgin Megastore and bought me the Ride the Lightning album with For Whom the Bell Tolls on it. And that is the song that I listened to get ready to play Trapjaw. And I didn't know that they were connected. So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sitting down with us, man. You've given us plenty of time here, and I'd love to sit down with you again sometime. Before we go, though, actually, let me ask you, like, what's next for Sam? Like, do you have anything to look forward to that we should know about?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Blade Runner 2099, and
Okay.
I don't know if that's coming out either at the end of this year or next year. I'm not sure. I kind of find out when everyone else finds out.
Okay.
They don't. Despite what people may think, we don't get kept in the loop at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think only the producers know that information. I think next time I'll be fighting to be an exec on something, maybe one day. But
yeah.
But yeah. So I am in that with Hunter Schafer and Michelle Yeoh and Tom Burke and like Lewis Gribbin and Dimitri Abud and Johnny Harris and Daniel Rigby.
Awesome.
I mean, just so many, like, and a lot of fighting in that too. And that's, you'll be able to know that's me. It'll be very obvious. It's just like me, like as I am now. And then I did a TV show with Helena Bonham Carter and Bill Nighy called California Avenue, which will be on the BBC, and I think will probably be distributed over with you guys, I'd imagine. And then I'm in conversation about a couple of things now that if I get them will be really exciting. And I'm in the kind of final meeting stages of a couple of things that I would love to be able to say about, but I daren't curse them. And I've signed NDAs, so I'm not allowed to. Anyway.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, Blade Runner is for sure. I mean, that's like right in this audience wheelhouse.
I know I'm plowing my way through intellectual property, aren't I? I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
yeah, what a franchise to be like included in, like after Masters, next Blade Runner. So yeah, like hopefully I see you down there for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll next time we'll do it all in person. Absolutely. I'd love that, Ryan. It's such a thoughtful interview. I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you too. And, I look forward to catching up with you again. So until next time, we'll see you guys at the castle.
Until next time.